Bradley Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio. Rise and shine. Your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and Coralie Karen. The unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further, away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon.
It's a beautiful day, and of course we want to welcome you to today's episode of the Breakfast Hour, and I hope you are doing wonderful and you are as thrilled as I am to be in your presence. I hope you had a good day yesterday, but despite what happened yesterday, I've heard the phrase yesterday is a cancelled check. So what is going to be happening today? That's what counts. Good morning, Mikey G. Good morning to our listeners on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and online via our online radio, flashpointmedia.ky.
I've said, yesterday's blessing. Are we still living off yesterday's blessing, yes?
I'm still living off yesterday's blessing, but
yesterday, while being a cancelled check, my blessings come, I tell this one. My mother prayed for me as a young boy, youngster growing up into adulthood and, growing as a young man. And I will tell you that with all the things that the enemy could think of doing to me, and I'm not telling you that things never happened to me, her prayers kept me right throughout every situation that was possible to happen.
Yes.
She prayed for me, and those prayers of yesterday kept me today, and has brought me through some circumstance and some situation that I was thinking was impossible to get through.
Yes.
I was just want to say the power of prayer this morning, and of course, yesterday is gone, tomorrow is promised to no man, and of course today is the day that you must make a difference in. Thank you, Lady Elise, for that introduction this morning. Of course, I want to say add my quote of welcome to the Breakfast Hour. Remember, like, share, subscribe to Flashpoint. Hit the like button so hit the bell. Every time you get one of these programs, you will get it first. And so, this morning we are here once again to tell you that there is a day that is coming when you're going to need some financial advice. And no doubt today is no different than the last financial day that you had, where you didn't know a thing about finances, and today you're going to learn. Alright, I guess we're going to go into our devotional when we come back. Our financial support will be here, of course, advice. And of course, not only that, if you take it.
So right after the break, we'll have our devotional followed by our financial tips from our financial advisor.
Looking to build your dream home or renovate your space? M&M Construction is the perfect place. We bring your vision to life with precision and quality craftsmanship. From design to construction, we guide you every step, ensuring seamless coordination and superior results. Our professional roof inspection and maintenance services will ensure that your roof is sturdy this hurricane season. So, if you are ready to start your construction journey, call us today at 345-927-7509. Build with confidence. Build with M&M Construction. 345-927-7509.
Good morning. This is day 11. His divine power has given to us all things that pertain to life and godliness. 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 3. Trivial Pursuits, written by Dave Roper. A number of years ago, I was in the library of a prestigious university. As I walked among the bookshelves, I happened to pass by a row of small cubicles set aside for study and spied a student reading a Bugs Bunny comic book. I almost laughed out loud. Here was a young man surrounded by the wisdom of the ages, yet immersed in childish trivia. There's nothing wrong with comic books, and all of us need occasional respite from study, but some of us never get beyond trivial pursuits. Books, magazines, and other media are the preoccupation and primary influence in our lives. How foolish. We have in our hands the word of life, the book that tells us how to know God and live abundantly. The greatest cause for our neglect of the Bible is not lack of time, but lack of heart. Someone else's word is taking the place of the word of Christ. There are many good books and magazines to read, but we must not neglect the mysteries of God's grace and love that are written on every page of the Bible. That's where we find everything we need for life and godliness. Ask God to give you a desire for His word and a hunger to taste His goodness every day. How rich the truths within God's word. What gems beyond compare. By faith we can discover them when study joins with prayer. Our quote this morning reads, "It is an awesome responsibility to own a Bible." End quote.
I'm Audley Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio. Rise and shine. Your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and Coralie Karen. The unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
Welcome back to the breakfast hour. I know that you're at the edge of your seats and you have been wondering, what our financial advisor is going to speak to us about. And so, of course, we want to welcome our financial advisor. And of course, our financial tips today, they're brought to us by Asai Ultrasound Imaging.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee. Yes, it's me, Earthquake. I come in Tuesday around 10. No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced. And when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't go to the doorway or any exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take for yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, don't want to run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
Can you hear me?
Okay, so we welcome you back to the breakfast hour. Welcome you back as we prepare to be informed about our financial health and what we need to do to maintain financial health, and if we are not healthy, to get there. So you know what I realized, Mikey G, we have to be deliberate in these matters. And
Yes.
so of course we want to welcome our financial advisor who is ready to join us this morning. Of course, our financial advisor is ready to um, check our financial health. Good morning, Richard. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm well, thank you. And how are you?
I'm trying to attain financial health and wealth. So I'm anxious to hear what you have to share with us this morning.
All right. Well, thank you for having me. Hello, Michael G.
Good morning, Sir Richard. How are you doing this morning, sir?
I am great, thank you. Giving thanks.
All right. Well, of course, like a lady Elise, I am here anxiously awaiting, the wealth of information that I will get and receive, and of course, will always implement and utilize. These are two words I'm going to be applying this morning's episode of the Breakfast Hour. Implement and utilize.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for having me again, and welcome listeners to Financial Tuesdays. I am Richard Thelwell. I'm going to try to break down as best as is possible our topic for today, which is how to buy assets. I'd love to try to break this down in a way that it will make sense for everyone, whether you're a seasoned investor or just getting started. So, Mikey G, a few weeks ago asked me, how do I make money? And the first step is to buy assets. So let's go through what is an asset. Now, there are two definitions that we hear all the time. One is from the accountant, and the second I'm going to take from Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. So where the accountant believes that an asset is something that you put on the one side of the balance sheet, the asset, according to Robert Kiyosaki, is something that puts money in your pocket. I'll give an example. If it makes you money, it's an asset. If it takes money out of your pocket, it's a liability. Simple example, if you buy a bicycle, if you ride it for fun, it's just an expense. If you rent it out and earn $5 a day, it's an asset. Just look around Cayman and those little two-wheel scooters. This means that not all expensive things are assets. A fancy car can be a liability. That same car used for Uber is an asset. Now let's break this down a little bit more. So, what then constitutes assets? What are types of assets that we have out there? Let's look at three types of assets. The first is what we call a cash flowing asset. These put money in your pocket on a regular basis. And I'm sure some come to mind. We have been speaking about it a few times in the last since the year started. And
Real estate.
Properties. That is correct. The second one, stocks, that pays dividends. Third, bonds, that pay interest. Or a vending machine that earns you money while you sleep. All these are cash flowing assets. Then we have appreciating assets. These grow in value over time. Again, real estate tops that list. Stocks. You have heard of how Amazon stock has appreciated over the last 30 years. 25 years, sorry. Right? So that is an example of an appreciating asset. Collectibles, arts, jewelry, rare sneakers, those Jordan Airs that's signed by Mike Jordan himself, that is a collectible. And then you have those business assets. These assets generate income without you having to work in it every day. And even if you do, you're not the one that actually producing the work, doing the work, the actual work. A good example is a laundromat. You have bought the laundromat one time, You are not the one washing the clothes by hand. You have machines that do so, and you get paid every time someone puts money in that laundromat. A second one is a website that sells digital products. So those persons aspiring entrepreneurs, you can actually sell digital products and make money even while you're sleeping. So of course, the question next comes up: which assets do I buy first? If you're just starting out, here's the buy cash flowing assets first. In other words, if you had $1,000, what would you do with it? Buy some new clothes, go on a vacation, or buy a stock that pays dividends of $50 each year. $50 might seem small in the grand scheme of things, but that's 5% on your money. So if you had a choice, you would buy the stock that pays a dividend every year. Because that dividend paying stock is a small step forward to financial freedom. Start with assets that pay you regularly, and over time, use that income to buy bigger assets. Repeat. Now, this is a term that a lot of people misunderstand: leverage. Using
Using leverage.
It is another financial Tuesday. Yeah. Using the assets to be leveraged for our financial growth.
And as he had a discussion, Mikey G, as I reflect, what you purchase may or may not be an asset.
It can be a liability.
It can be a liability depending on what you use it
The
for.
usage of the thing that created it.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
here's the kicker for you. The thing that takes money from you
Yes.
versus the thing that makes money for you.
For you. Yes.
So I buy a home. That stupid thing takes so much money from me. I'm going to talk about that one later on. Guys, so what's the difference of buying a home that takes so much money from you to maintain and to keep in an asset in the scheme of thinking that thing that takes away money from you will be a liability? How is the home an asset while it takes so much money from you? So that's something that we might want to look at, and of course that is a very big part of my conversation and where my thoughts are.
Yes, and I do have a question for financial advisor. If he joins us back, the question is, what can be described as long or short-term assets? So I think he is ready to share with us. And so I'll ask him, I'll just put him in the water as soon as he comes back.
All right.
So Richard, welcome back. I will ask a question that has been posed on YouTube. The question is, what can be described as long or short term assets?
question you're asking is what can be considered as long-term
Long term.
or short-term assets? That's
Yes.
the question posed this morning. I'm trusting and hoping you're hearing us this morning. Having some technical difficulties with that one.
Yes. So perhaps we can probably go to news and come back to so that the financial advisor would be able to answer these questions.
What was the question again, please?
Oh, the question is what can be considered, what can be described as long or short term assets?
You are not able to hear. I think there's something going on.
Alright, so let's get to the news and then we'll return.
All right, so when we come back.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
Welcome back. Of course, we are having a little bit of technical difficulty this morning with our feed. Good morning again, Sir Richard. And I'm asking, are you hearing us much better now?
I'm hearing much.
I think I'm on a time delay. Ladies, can you pose the question again once again for our listener on YouTube?
What can be described as long term or short term assets?
Alright, great. I'll answer the question in the next 2 points from now. So we pause for a moment at leverage. And what is leverage? If you think of the jack that you put under your car, what you'll find is that leverage means using a small force to lift a larger load. That is basically what leverage is. And so when we speak of leverage in terms of the bank or in terms of business, we are talking using other people's money to buy assets. Simply put, we borrow money from the bank or investors and put a portion of ours, 10%, 15, 20% of our money down, and we get 80% of the money, and the asset belongs to us. So a lot of people think that you need to be rich to buy assets, but that is not so. Really and truly, if we make use of other people's money, we can buy these assets. An example, if you wish to buy a rental property for $200,000, you may have to just put down at 5% or 10% of that money. That is equivalent to either $10,000 or $20,000. And you are able to buy an income producing property for 200,000. And importantly, the title is in your name. The bank will lend you the money and the renters will pay off the loan. This is how most wealthy people grow their portfolios. They don't use their own money, they use smart leverage. Now you ask, how do we define short term and long term assets? For me, the definition is not so much of what is short term in terms of when do I get rid of the asset, because all assets have a time span to it. And for me, there's a golden rule that I use that I heard from Warren Buffett. You make money when you buy an asset and not when you sell it. This means that the key to buying is buying at the right price and at the right time. If you buy up later when you sell it, it means that one, it no longer gives you good returns. Two, you can reinvest in another asset to make better profits or income. Or three, the market at an all-time high. Let's give you an example. In 2008, there was a market crash in the United States. Houses that were being sold initially for $300,000 and $350,000 lost almost half their value in some states. So that very same house, one person would have lost it because they had to foreclose on it. But these assets stood in the bank, and the reason why they were being sold for so low is because there was now a glut on the market. And what happened? Persons who had cash, one, or two, persons who still had good credit, went to the banks and bought these assets on the cheap. 15, 16, 17 years later, these assets have returned to full price. It means that these assets have now doubled in value. So the very same asset that you were able to pick up at $250,000 in 2008, 2009 are now it's now on the market for $400,000 and $500,000. The best part about that is that during the period you are earning rent on that asset to the point where you are able to pay back the bank their loan. So that depends on, again, I said, depends on what your asset is doing. So in this case, this asset was a long-term asset. But you have had situations where you buy stocks that you plan for retirement. However, the market has an upswing and you bought the price of that stock for $1. The stock price has now tripled. It is now at $3 per unit of stock. What do? Keep it? No. Sell that stock and get into another cash flowing asset. Believe me, the way the market works, chances are that stock, if you love it that much, will go back below the value that you sold out at the high, that you can buy it back. Otherwise, there are more than enough stocks on the stock market for you to reinvest your money immediately. So, my final thoughts. Buy smart. Build your wealth. Buying assets isn't just for rich people. It's for anyone willing to start small and think like an investor. If you remember one thing today, an asset puts money in your pocket and a liability takes money out. Start small, invest wisely, and let your money work for you. That's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe to Flashpoint Media, and you can check out my blog post right on the website.
So
until next time, keep building wealth one asset at a time.
And I already sent you the questions that are posed. I know you would have addressed you would have addressed them, a lot of them already, but I wanted to just quickly glance over them. These questions being posed on YouTube. What does what How does one decide what is a sustainable asset? What's the best time to consider parting with assets? What can be described as long term or short term, which you answered. So if there's any that you didn't answer or you need to reiterate, then you can go ahead and do that before you go.
Alright, welcome back. Of course, I am thinking that we are having another situation of that technical difficulty with our equipment or connection this morning. So I guess Money Tuesday. Question was not heard, so I think that we can.
Yes, I'm just going to confirm. Richard, did you hear the question?
No,
Or did you read them?
Which phone was you sent to?
Okay, all right. With that said, the question: how does one decide what is a sustainable asset? Okay.
All right. I think we had our fair share of that this morning. Okay, so we'll have to probably get those answers to those questions posted
Yes.
for you, and you get those.
Yes.
Yeah. Said
Yeah.
Murphy's Law. Something can go wrong, and it's good. Of
Yes.
course, it's time for news. Of course, when we come back, Aside Ultrasound is our sponsor for this segment of our breakfast hour program this morning, and of course today
Yes.
I learned so much.
Yes, I want to thank Richard so much for coming on and, of course, reminding us what are assets, what are liabilities, and what put money in your
Our
pocket,
what
which
takes
is your
it out,
assets,
and what
takes
takes
it out.
it away.
So that car, it could be an asset or it could be a liability. So
I went to
let's
school.
decide.
I went to school, and these were not emphasized.
Your house can be a liability or it can be an
These
asset.
were not
Oh.
emphasis when I'm going to school. This is not the emphasis. They're telling me how to do this, how to do that, and never telling me about money. And that's it.
It's never too late.
No, it is too late. It is too late. I passed. I graduated from the school already. Long time. And then I have lived my full life. Now I'm 80 years of age. And this gentleman is now telling me 80. 80.
Listen, Mikey G, our financial advisor just said to us, the best time to have done this was yesterday, but the next best time is now. So once you're above ground,
Look,
Mikey
I'm
G,
80 years of age. I am already 80 years old.
don't
Please.
give up.
No, I give up. No, I do not want it. All I want is to be peaceful in my. I just live the rest of my life peaceful.
I'm going to share with you some persons who never made the breakthrough until later in life. You would remember an actor like Morgan Freeman. Do you remember any movies with him as a young person?
Well, younger, but he's paraded as an older man every single movie because he started his acting career somewhere around 50 years of age, 49, 50. That's when he got a spotlight and was able to make a mark and to be seen on screen.
Right. So you know,
if I remember correctly, is his storyline right here.
Right. So you have to remember and Colonel from KFC, Colonel Saunders.
Yeah, well, 70 what? 72,
Okay.
76
All right.
time when he started.
All right. So the point is, I don't know if you get the point. The point is, Mikey G, that it's never too late. If you find yourself, and the point, when we started the conversation, we recognize that you have to be deliberate. You know, you have to tell your money where to go. You can't just, say, hope and pray and live in faith only without works.
It sounds as if the Christian belief system don't work.
No, faith without works is dead, Mikey G.
So you're telling Christians then, please guys, because we're actually appealing to an audience, not just Christian-minded people, but then we have a set of persons. A lot of our audience is Christian-based, and they are the ones who sometimes pray to God and sit down and wait for it to come to your door. And I'm sure that it can. And God works in mysterious ways. But it also says that when you're done pray, get up and do something. Go do something. I think that's impossible things, leave it to God. But for some things, you already know the answer.
All right, so it's time for our news, brought to us today by Asai Ultrasound Imaging.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4, Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, March 11th, and these are the news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. I'm Corley Karen. 6 acres of prime Georgetown real estate on market for US $29.5 million. The opportunity to shape the future of Georgetown is available for US $29.5 million. Over 6 acres of prime real estate along North Church Street and Budden Road are up for sale. Marketed by Kim Ludd and Mark Goss of Remax Cayman Islands, the property offers a rare chance to invest in the Cayman Islands capital. Ludd noted the scarcity of such large parcels in the area making this a unique investment prospect. Man who terrorized ex-boyfriend jailed for 28 months. Theodore O'Neill Morgan has been sentenced to 28 months in prison following a year-long stalking campaign against his ex-boyfriend and the man's fiancée. Justice Cheryl Richards labeled Morgan's offenses as severe, particularly when he drove his vehicle at the couple while they jogged. Morgan's decision to plead not guilty forced his victims to testify in court. His sentence reflects the gravity of his actions and their impact on the victims. Parties come out punching for general election. The Caymanian Community Party and the People's Progressive Movement have launched their campaigns ahead of the April 30 general election. TCCP, clad in blue-green, kicked off at Pedro St. James, while the red shirt PPM followed shortly after. Both parties are prioritizing solutions to the cost of living crisis, affordable housing, and immigration reform, while pledging to protect Caymanian culture, employment, and financial services. PPM leader Joey Hugh energized supporters with Eye of the Tiger as his entrance theme, signaling a fierce electoral battle ahead. In regional news, Talk About It mobile app launched to protect mental health. Jamaica's Talk About It Limited has launched a groundbreaking digital platform to provide professional, confidential, and accessible counseling services. The app connects individuals with licensed professionals through video calls, voice calls, and text messaging, addressing issues of stigma, accessibility, and cost. With mental health conditions affecting 3% of Jamaicans with depression and 4.1% with anxiety, this initiative seeks to provide much needed support. Police Commissioner declares cops as core human rights advocates. Amid debates over police shootings and human rights, Commissioner of Police Dr. Kevin Blake has emphasized that law enforcers are key human rights advocates. In his latest Commissioner's Corner column, he challenged critics to find greater advocates than those who risk their lives daily for public safety. Statement follows ongoing discourse between the Jamaica Constabulary Force and Jamaicans for Justice regarding police-involved fatal shootings, with 61 deaths recorded this year so far. Portland farmer gets reduced sentence in landmark court ruling. In a historic ruling, the Court of Appeal has reduced Portland farmer Cecil Moore's mandatory minimum sentence from 15 years to 12 years and 3 months. The decision acknowledged the time Moore had already served in pre-sentence remand, which was previously uncredited due to strict sentencing guidelines. This ruling is expected to set a precedent for future cases involving mandatory minimums and pre-trial remand calculations. Guyana. Police arrest woman following viral child abuse video. A 27-year-old woman in West Bank, Demerara, Guyana, has been arrested after a viral video showed her abusing her son. Officers, alongside the Child Care and Protection Agency, intervened swiftly, removing the child from harm and placing him in his parental grandmother's care. Authorities continue investigations into the case. Caribbean leaders speak out on U.S. sanctions on Cuba's medical aid. Caribbean leaders have voiced their opposition to U.S. sanctions targeting Cuba's overseas medical missions. The U.S. has announced visa restrictions on those involved in the program, which Caribbean nations have long relied on. Grenada's Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell and St. Vincent's Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves dismissed the sanctions, reaffirming their commitment to Cuban medical partnerships. Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt called for diplomatic engagement with the US to address the issue. CARICOM welcomes Canada's $24.1 million funding for regional development. CARICOM has welcomed Canada's $24.1 million funding package for social action, gender equality, human rights, and security initiatives across the region, including in Haiti. Minister of International Development Ahmed Hussein highlighted Canada's commitment to supporting Caribbean priorities. This follows a previous $38 million pledge made at the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting in February, addressing biodiversity, hurricane recovery, and reproductive education. And in global news, Musk X hit by a massive cyber attack amid outage. Elon Musk confirmed that his social media platform X experienced a massive cyber attack following widespread outages that affected thousands of users. The attack comes amid growing concerns over cybersecurity vulnerabilities in major digital platforms. Musk stated that his team is investigating the breach and working to restore full service. Those were your news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. Continue to stay tuned for more details and updates throughout the day.
We thank Curly Karen for bringing the news to us so ably and so well this morning. A lot happening in the news, yes. I see the politics warming up over here in the Grand K as we draw near to election. A lot of billboards are on the road, Mikey G.
You want to hear Rastafarian concept of politics?
What?
Politics.
Yes, it happens all over the world.
Yeah, it's a fabulous. Yeah.
Yes, I will though before we go just briefly answer questions. Of course, the answers were sent to me by our financial advisor. What's the best time to consider parting with an asset? When to sell? Right? So the golden rule, just a reminder, you make money when you buy an asset, not when you sell it. This means the key is buying at the right price. If you buy a property below market value, you already have built-in profit. Later you sell when it no longer gives good returns. You can reinvest in a better asset. The market is at a high point. That's when you sell. And of course, what can be described as long-term or short-term assets? Short-term is generally accepted as any asset or liability that matures within 12 months. Medium-term, 1 to 10 years, and long-term, 10 years and beyond.
All right. So my take on the news is, of course, and that's the last one. That's the last one for the financial tips this morning.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I had a little beef with the whole news and everything. I want a little thing.
I can just guess, but I'll just allow you to surprise me and all the listeners.
No man, no. This is one. I'm gonna go. Let me go. I wrote down this one. Cuba. First, I want to hit on Cuba. The sanction being placed against Cuba. And I'm not talking about Cuba in general. I'm talking about when a country is not self-sustaining, how much you can be affected by everybody else.
Yes.
In fact, it's not just about a country. It's about you as a person or a family.
Yes.
When you're unable to take care of yourself, it's like I was talking about family wealth. Sometime this week. This week is Tuesday, right?
Yes.
Yesterday apparently. And if we as family would have pooled our money together as a group, so we might have different jobs, different places, but we pool the money together in one place. We might surprise what we'll do with that course. Instead, everybody's off independent. You know, it's word independent is a cell, it's a soul to us to keep us pauperized and disengaged and united. We can't be united under that heading. So I was looking at Cuba's experience and the sanction of visa restriction. If you go to Cuba, people, one time you could go to Cuba, and you could hop on from the Cayman Islands, go to Cuba, and nobody knows because then they wouldn't stamp your passport and when you go there.
Yes.
Right? Sadly, I didn't go to Cuba at that time. So, yeah. Anyways, however, I was thinking, many times I get a trip to go to Cuba. I've been invited so many times, and I'm telling you, and I hear that place nice. Yeah. Anyways, so
it's not too late, Mikey G.
I know it's not too late. I'll be going to Cuba soon. All right. Here's the next piece. For me, the PPM, the Cayman Community Party. Who's in charge of that party? They keep saying it. A while ago when they said the PPM, they said Joey Yu. Right away they identified the leader of the party. We don't know who is this mysterious leader for this progressive party, this Cayman Community Party. Who is the leader for it? I need to know. So that's my second question. And I'm thinking it's a challenger for the election, this one. Because I don't think the idea of independence are going to work anymore. The last time it came out to not be all the right what I want to choose my words wisely this morning. They didn't come. It was a good effort because the goal of it was to unite Cayman. But we soon learned that we are human beings and that now we are not going to align with the same values every time. Because as I talk about values, I looked at human rights and human rights for the police shooting. I'm going to switch quickly. So that is where I want to leave that for the political parties. Done with that.
Yes.
Human rights. And so I went over to Jamaica, where it has 61 police shootings. And it was a high rate of police, and the human rights people coming out and saying, it's a bad thing. 1,500 Jamaicans who did not commit a crime, shot by somebody, or 600 persons who didn't do anything. You're just walking around and somebody just come up and decide to rob you and shoot you, or something to that effect. It's a bad thing. 61 is very small in the bucket of those. In fact, I think that we should have a higher mark because we have more persons to be shot right now. I think so. I believe so. Because I believe that you cannot go around robbing and shooting people at will and don't have no consequence. Mm-hmm. I am going to set myself. I'm not saying that every one of the incidents are above board. I think that there are some discrepancies somewhere. But I don't think that because it's 61 persons, I think it only means that you have more cockroaches in your house that needs getting rid of. I think so. I'm not saying that everyone is above board. I think there are some discrepancies, and I think security force must operate at a high level of professionalism to rid crime from the country. Yes. But I am going to side on the side of the police. I will tell you straight off the bat that most persons are not a strong advocate for the police because of sometimes what they call police brutality. But I've seen criminal brutality even more, and I'm thinking there's two evils that we're looking at here now. I don't know, but you have to strike a balance. So
we certainly
let's not just throw the baby out with the bathwater. Let's investigate. Let's look at what the thing is, and I believe the human rights need to take a look at the human rights. The persons who have the right to life and property and liberty, without people trying to come and extort you and do all sorts of things. People have that right as well. So I think that needs to be taken into consideration. I think lastly on my list of things is the boyfriend. I didn't know this thing, Ladies. until
I don't want
yesterday.
us to part on that note.
No, I want to part on this note.
Because
Yesterday I
the time,
discovered. Hold on,
the
little
time.
man, Cho, allow this man. Yesterday I discovered that. Did you know that in the homosexual realm, if this gay man, Jesus Christ, crazy. So this gay man, I marry somehow another man, right? And when he married the next man, the next one decided to dress up as a woman, and he came to family court. I said, I turned off the thing immediately because I was here listening to Family Matters, and I then discovered. And by the time it get to that point, I know the conversation finished for me because I now realize that this now is because I was saying these people look suspect because there's this man talking, but he just looked suspect. This woman talking, but just looked suspect. And then the next thing I know, he's there saying, he turns into a woman. And if I wanted a woman, I'd marry a woman, and I've lived and he's now getting divorced because this fellow dressed up like a woman, claiming to be a woman too, and they're there, and women's rights and everything coming up. So I did not know. Hold on. So I did not know. Hold on. I did not know that amongst the group of persons that they are the same thing. They don't like dressing up like. They dress up. Some don't like this. Some don't like. I think about just. I don't know, man. It becomes even more confusing. So I just had to turn off the thing. I turned it off and I sat there for a minute and I said, God Almighty. Oh my God. And then you're in this family court parading this thing as normal, and we are now saying we are having sympathies to Anyways, that's all I have to say about it.
And on that note, I want to thank the listeners and viewers for joining us today on the Breakfast Hour. I hope that you have certainly benefited from the wealth of information that has been shared from our financial advisor. Despite the little technical issues that we have, we learned quite a bit about assets and liabilities and how to acquire them. And so I wish that we will all take these practical steps and put them into action. I want to thank you for tuning in. Tomorrow it's going to be Wellness Wednesday, and Dr. K will be joining us live right here, and I'm sure she has a lot of information to share with us about our physical health. Let's stay healthy so that we can be wealthy. So I say to you, have yourself a beautiful day. See you same time, same place. Remember to like, share, and subscribe.
Alright, I want to add one little bit before we go, guys. Remember, God's church provides a sanctuary for every sinner. Not just some. Whether you are thief, whatever you are. Anything. Everybody have a chance. But don't make a mistake. Believe that you don't have to change the ways that you think in it. And then God is going to bless you in that. It's not going to happen. I am sure of it. I know. Alright, with that note, guys, catch you tomorrow morning, same time, same place. We have Wellness Wednesday coming up tomorrow with Dr. K. Have yourself a good one.
Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio, Rise and Shine, your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and Coralie Karen, the unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day. stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries. We'll make our own way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together, it will all seem better outside. Just us in the sky. I will go wherever, I'll be yours Are we part of this circus? Is it innate?
Hey, I am Brother West, and the only station I listen to in the morning is Flashpoint Radio. Please stay tuned and be blessed.